It's been about a week since my chair's been broken. It feels like, it could snap at any time. I'm living on the edge, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know when I'll fall. Hello and welcome back to another episode of What You Missed News. So, you never know, some of these stories might be really important to you and might just make you laugh. So yeah, my chair, this has been going on for a week now. It's pretty good. It's progressively getting worse. I wonder when it really will break. So, before we jump into the news, I did want to give a shout out to GOG. They're having their Chinese New Year sale, ladies and gentlemen, so you can get quite a few awesome games with a great percentage off. And yeah, if anyone's looking for some new games to play, I'll go ahead and put some links down below to some suggestions that I might have, and they are on sale, so you can get them for cheaper as well. And I'm an affiliate with GOG, so if anyone does indeed buy those games and take those links, I also get a kickback as well. So you're supporting the channel, getting games that are on sale, and just helping it out overall. So it's a really, really great experience. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're interested in that, make sure to check that in the description below. But I want to jump right into the news. Right out the gate, we have the Super NT review. Now, this is over at Polygon. This is an aftermarket kind of Super Nintendo. The Super NT is a $190 Super Nintendo clone. It has quite a few interesting features, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll tell you right now, it's cool, there's no questioning that. It has HDMI, it has modern conveniences, okay? And you can read through this review and look at it, but to ask $190 for a Super Nintendo, you would have to be an extreme Super Nintendo enthusiast, which I am, but I'm not even willing to pay this. See, you could buy an SNES Classic hacked, and that's essentially the same thing as this, minus the physical cartridges. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm always about the physical media, but at the same time, you have to understand that collecting physical Super Nintendo games is quite pricey. It's about the same amount of money as these days buying some new or used Xbox or PlayStation games. You walk into a GameStop, $10, $20, you'll get you a game. The same thing with Super Nintendo game, with the exception of the Super Nintendo games being about 20 to 25 years older. Okay, so you see what I'm saying here. It's a little bit pricey. And some of the games, battery backups don't work. Some of the games don't work themselves at all. But I'm not saying it's not a bad thing to get into. I'm just saying it's quite pricey to be asking $190 for an aftermarket console that essentially plays Super Nintendo physical cartridges in HD. Maybe it's your thing, maybe you're a massive collector, but for me, it's a little bit too much. But if you're interested in that review, it's over there. Speaking of the Super NES Classic, there is an individual who has asserted that Nintendo have been selling us pirated software. Now, whether or not this is actually the case, it doesn't matter because Nintendo own the pirated software that they're selling. See, the thing about this is that they talk about how you are not supposed to download any Nintendo ROMs and play them, that's illegal. That's the long and the short of it. There's a lot more to it, but that's the long and the short of it. And what ends up happening is that Nintendo has been alleged to have downloaded a copy of Super Mario Bros. And sell it on the eShop, as well as include it as the SNES Classics version of the Super Mario Bros. Game for the NES. Is this true? I'm not really sure, but what it boils down to is a string of code that is imprinted on ROMs that are dumped into ROM form from physical NES cartridges. And this ROM form happens to have one that was dumped in a physical form of a cartridge and listed on a website. So the numbers match up, there's no questioning that, and even though Nintendo has altered the ROM itself quite a bit, the excuse could be that Nintendo has lost the original software. They've had problems with computers crashing and stuff like that, and they've lost it. But again, as the copyright owners, who would take them to court and sue them? Who? They own it. There's no one that could even take them to court and sue them over this. What would they sue them for? For breaking their own rules? and then who would be paying the Nintendo would be paying damages to themselves. So yeah, this was an interesting video, and I urge everyone to take a look at it. Even if it is wrong, it'll give a good idea and insight into the discussion of emulation and ROM piracy. But that's how Nintendo have been selling you pirated software for a while, I guess, allegedly. Splatoon 2 Starter Edition is going to be sold in retailers next month. Ladies and gentlemen, this Starter Edition comes with a guidebook as well as a sticker chart, and it's all for the same price with the physical game as opposed to just the physical game. Now, this is very odd to me because most retailers, most games, most publishers, and most developers, they don't all collaborate together to sell a bunch of stuff with one game after the game's been released for quite some time. It released March 16th, so it's been out for a while, and this is apparently going to be replacing the original new Splatoon game. So if you are interested in getting Splatoon 2, make sure to get the Starter Edition next month instead of possibly just buying the regular edition for the same price and being ripped off. I'm quite sure that the regular edition, without all these bells and whistles, is going to reduce in price. Nevertheless, just be aware of that. So over on Young Ya, he's been following the anti-loot box situation, and 4 anti-loot box bills have been introduced by Hawaii. So one of the pair of the bills is alleging that the game feature system wherein players can purchase randomized rewards using real money to anyone younger than 21 years old needs to be prohibited and or regulated better, like an adult only rating. And then the other 2 bills are going to be talking about how publishers will need to label games with such randomizing purchasing systems with a warning label, a disclosure, and will be saying and telling the exact probability rates of receiving each loot box reward. This has been happening in several other countries as well, and other countries do have a system where publishers do have to say what are the odds of what you're going to get, and that deters a lot of people from buying these loot boxes. So I really do hope the latter 2 bills do come out. This led me to talking about why microtransactions won't go away, because Blizzard Activision made $4 billion on microtransactions, which is interesting. But in that video, I did want to detail something interesting I saw. So I talked about Kingdom Hearts 3. It's in the title. There's no questioning that, alright? I get it, but I didn't have any gameplay footage because Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't out yet. And I don't use trailer or gameplay of that stuff when it's very, very popular because I don't want to get copyright struck. It makes sense. So I had the game, YouTube Gaming had labeled my video as a Kingdom Hearts 3 video. Now I thought that was interesting in and of itself. We all know why that stuff does happen. That's how it works. The algorithm detects on what you say, your tags, your titles, things like that. And I thought that was very interesting because the game is not out yet. So if YouTube has it labeled as a Kingdom Hearts kind of gameplay, it's interesting because it's not auto copyright struck based upon that, because the game's not out yet. That's something that they would be seeking to do to prevent leaks. But moreover, I feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to release sooner than what a lot of people expect due to this as well. But then the plot thickens, ladies and gentlemen, because YouTube Gaming had decided to change my game to Splatoon instead of Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, and it did it all on its own. Again, Splatoon's not really in the title. I don't know why it decided to change it, but it did indeed change it. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the plot thickens. And speaking of Kingdom Hearts 3, the internet is reacting to Riku's Keyblade in Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's hilarious. So a lot of people are comparing it to car keys. There's a lot of Photoshop pictures with him just holding a set of car keys. It's hilarious. If you guys are interested in having a good laugh, check into those, ladies and gentlemen. So continuing on, why Ubisoft is obsessed with a games as a service type of way they want to go forward in the video game industry, and it boils down to sales and profits and what they are doing. And you can get a look at what they think about this, how they feel about this. There's lots of charts, there's lots of interesting things. They talk about how in the past things were different, and today reoccurring revenue business, higher user engagement, multi-platform business as opposed to a console focus, player-centric platform experience, and then a lifetime value instead of the number of units that you can move. So they've really changed their thought process about how they develop games and publish video games, ladies and gentlemen. So check into that if that's something that interests you. So recreating Monster Hunter World food is a delicious idea. The long and the short of this story is that there's Monster Hunter food dishes out there, and people try to recreate them in real life and make them look similar. It looks awesome. It looks excellent. It really does. It looks like something you would get in a really, really high-class restaurant. And I think that's awesome when people take video games and try and make the food dishes from video games a real thing. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's this episode of What You Missed News. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like and share it with everyone. If you disliked it, please leave a dislike and some constructive criticism and allow me to know what I can do to do better, ladies and gentlemen, for you. As always, the Nintendo Switch giveaway is going on. All you have to do is be subscribed, like, and share my videos, and drop a comment down below, and you're automatically entered in as a thank you and to give back to my subscribers. Now, I am off to recreate some delicious dishes from games like Earthbound in the kitchen. I'll see you guys in the next episode of What You Missed News. I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. As always, good gaming, God bless, and thank you for taking the time out to watch this video.